Hello guys, in this video I will show you a method to balance chemical equations. I know that this is a very easy skill, sometimes could be very easy and achievable in seconds, but sometimes it requires more time because we have more reactants and more products in every chemical reaction. So I will explain a method called algebraic method, even though it sounds like a mathematical method and hard in some extent, it's not. And I will explain you step by step from scratch how to solve and how to balance chemical equations. After this video, you will be able to balance all chemical reactions with ease and you will never be concerned about this topic. Let's start it. Okay, guys, first I will start with a very easy equation that you probably know how to balance it without using any method, just by trying. This is only for the explanation because later I will show you in a little bit more challenging chemical equation, okay? So is hydrogen plus oxygen producing water. I know that you can do and you can balance this very easily and only by putting numbers. But this is only for you to know how to approach the method. Okay, so the first step of the method, and by the way, this is the algebraic method. The first step is assigning letters to every chemical or every element in the chemical equation. Here we have hydrogen. Hydrogen will be A, oxygen will be B, water will be C. If you have more reactants in another equation or more products, you will fix accordingly. So you will have A, B, C, D, E, sometimes F because we have a lot of reactants and products. So depending on the chemical equation. This is only to show you how is the method step by step. So first step, assigning the letters. Second step, I will create mathematical equations based on the information provided in the chemical equation. So first, I need to start with the first element in the chemical reaction. Let's use hydrogen because here we have hydrogens as the first element in the chemical equation. The equation for hydrogen will be like this. In A, we count the number of hydrogens that we have. In this case, we have two hydrogens. That's why it will be 2A. Now, B, there are no hydrogens. I don't need to put any value for B. If you see this arrow, those mathematical equations, the arrow will be replaced by equals. So that's why I put equals here, equal sign, and I will count the number of hydrogens in this case for the letter C. So in C, which is water, two hydrogens. That's why I will put 2C, okay? But now, let's change the color we are using for oxygen. So for oxygen, we don't have oxygens in A, that's why we skip for oxygen and we put B. But how many oxygens do we have in B? We have two oxygen in B. That's why we have 2B. Do we have oxygens in C? Yes, 1. So that's why I put C. If you see, I am already created the two mathematical equations for the only two elements in the equation. If you have more elements, you need to create more equations. Now, the third step will be assigning one letter to number to one letter in the equation. So in this case, I will pick A equals 2. Remember that in this case, I can use any letter. Could be A or B, could be any number that you want. For me, it's easier approaching using 2 because multiplying and dividing by 2 is very easy, okay? If you are using 1, could be difficult and challenging because sometimes you can produce a fraction if you are divided by 2. Sometimes you can pick B, sometimes you can pick C, and depending on the exercise that you are approaching. In this case, I would say that A equals 2. By knowing that A equals 2, I can use this equation to determine the value of C. So I will put the equation 2A equals 2C, but I will replace A. So I will put 2 instead of A, I will put 2 because here I have A is 2 equals 2C. Now I will multiply 4 equals 2C, and here we have that 4 divided by 2 equals C. So 2 equals C. And very good. So the value for A And I have also the value for C. What is missing? Now I need to calculate B. I will use this equation. So I will copy the equation again 2B equals C. So what I am going to do is replace the value that I already have for C because C is 2. So that will be 2B equals, I know that C equals 2. So B will be 2 divided by 2. So B will be 1. So I have the value for 1. So if I already have the value for A, B, and C, I just need to put the values, and that will be my last step of this method. So I will put in A will be 2, in B will be 1, so I don't need to put any number, and in C we would have 2. If you check, the equation is balanced. So 4 hydrogens in the reactants, 4 hydrogens in the product, we have 2 oxygens in the reactant, we have 2 oxygens in the products. I know that for that case it's easier just putting the numbers and check, but this was only to show you the method step by step. Okay. Now I will use a little bit more challenging equation for you to follow the steps that we started before. Okay, and the equation will be, so phosphoric acid 4 H3PO4 plus potassium hydroxide producing potassium phosphate plus water. Okay, so that will be H3PO4 plus KOH, potassium phosphate plus water. Now, let's work with this equation. Remember that you can stop, you can check, and you can double check the steps one by one and using the first equation that we used, and will be the second equation. Okay, first step, as I mentioned before, A, B, C, and D. Okay, because in this case now we have 2 reactants and 2 products. Now I will create the equations. Let's start with A, with hydrogen, which is my first element here. Let's use blue color here. So hydrogen will be in hydrogen in A. How many hydrogens do we have? We have 3. So that's why 3A. Do we have hydrogens in B? Yes, we have 1. So in that case, I will put plus B because 1B is the same as B. Now, because we have the arrow, we put equals. Do we have hydrogens in C? No, because we don't have hydrogens in C, we just skip it. But in D, we will have 2 hydrogens. So I will put 2D, and that will be my first equation for hydrogen. Now, put a pause to your video and try to do it for phosphorus. Now, remove the pause, and I will show you how is this for phosphorus. Do we have phosphorus in A? Yes, we have 1 phosphorus. Do we have phosphorus in B? No, we don't have, so we skip B for phosphorus. Do we have phosphorus in C? Yes, we have 1. It's in the other side, so that will be equals C. Remember that this arrow will be my equals in the mathematical equation. Do we have phosphorus in D? No, we don't have, so we don't need to put it. So the equation for phosphorus is the shortest. Now, let's do it for oxygen. So we have oxygen, then we have oxygens in A. Yes, we have 4 oxygens, so that will be for A. Do we have in B? Yes, we have 1 oxygen in B, so that will be plus B. Then we have an equals. Do we have oxygens in C? Yes, we have 4. For C. Do we have oxygens in D? Yes, we have oxygens in D plus D. That's the equation for oxygen. Now, there is another element, which is potassium. Let's use red. Potassium will be another element. Do we have potassiums in A? We don't have potassiums in A, so we skip. In B, yes, we have 1 potassium. Equals. Do we have potassiums in C? Yes, we have 3. 3C. Do we have potassiums in D? No, we don't need to put potassiums. Now, here we have the equations. Now, I will pick a letter and a number. For me, A equals 2, as in the previous example. If A equals 2, I can use this equation and I will say that C will be also equals 2 because A is 2. Okay, now I have A and I have C. Now using equations, I can use this equation because it's shorter and I already have the value for C. So I will put the equation again. I will put B equals 3C and then I will replace B equals 3 and C is 2. So B equals 6. I have B, I have A, I have C, I have B, and now I need to figure out another letter, which is D. For D, I can use this equation since I already have the values for A and I have the values for B. So I will copy the equation again. So that will be 3A plus B equals 2D. And I will just replace the values. 3, 2 plus 6 because b is 6, I is 2, and I put the parentheses here, equals 2d. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 6 equals 2d. This is 12 equals 2d. 12 divided by 2 is d. So 6 is d. And this is something very interesting. I have the value for A, for B, for C, and for D. If you see all of these values, 2, 2, 6, and 6 can be divisible by the same number, okay? And I can divide them by 2. If I divide in these numbers by 2, remembering the chemical equations, I used to use the simplest ratio, the simplest number. So in this case, A, which was 2 divided by 2, would be 1. B divided 6 divided by 2, that will be 3, because I divided by 2. All of them, I have to divide all of them by 2. B will be 3. C, which was 2, is also 1. And D divided by 2 will be 3. Now that I have all the numbers, the only thing that I need to use is replace them in the original equation. Okay, so let's get rid of these bars here and let's put the numbers. So A is 1, so I don't need to put any number, it's only 1. B is 3, C is 1, so I don't need to put any number, and D is 3. And I finish. Now what I need to do is checking if the equation is balanced. So hydrogens, we have 3 and 3 in the reactants, so hydrogen, 6 hydrogens, and in the products we have also 6 hydrogens. It's balanced. We have phosphorus in the reactants, we have 1, and we have 1 phosphorus, so it's already balanced. Oxygens, we have 4 plus 3 is 7 oxygens, and here we have 3 plus 4 is also 7 oxygens. And we have 3 potassiums. Potassium is already balanced, and that means that my equation is balanced. You see that the method is working for this also. Okay, guys, now I will show you another example. Let's pick another chemical equation. Let's use this one, aluminum hydroxide. In this case, I will go a little bit faster, but you can stop and you can check if your answers are correct. This is more for you to practice and double check. On aluminum hydroxide, a little bit more complicated, plus carbonic acid, producing aluminum carbonate plus water. Wow, in this case, if you don't use this method, you can spend a little bit of time, okay? So, but now you know this algebraic method, and this method is the one that will make things very easy for you. Look at how fast you will solve it. That will be A, B, C, and D. First step. Second step, aluminium. So A equals 2C, oxygen, 3A plus 3B equals 9C plus D. Wow, oxygen is long. Hydrogen, we have 3A plus 2B equals 2D. And then we have carbon. Carbon will be B equals 3C. And then we have the mole. So we have aluminum, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon. Okay. Now let's see. So using the first equation, we have that A equals to C. So in that case, I have that A is 2, so I replace 2C. 2 divided by 2 will be C. So 1 equals C, and I have my first letter, my second, A and C. Then I can use this one to determine B. So I have that B equals 3C. So B equals 3, but we already have C, which is 1. B equals 3. We have A, B, C, and D is missing, so I can use this one. So I can use 3a plus 2b equals 2d. So 3, I know that a is 2, plus 2, I know that b is 3, equals 2d. So that we have 6 plus 6 equals 2d. Here we have 12 equals 2d. So that will be 12 divided by 2 equals d. And then we have 6 equals d. So now I will put these numbers in the equation. So a is 2, b is 3, c is 1, so I don't need to put any number, and d is 6. Now we need to double check if the equation is balanced. Let's see if hydrogen is balanced. So we have 6 hydrogens here, 6 plus 12 hydrogens. And here we have 6 and 12 hydrogens. Only by checking one, you can see that the equation is balanced. Even though this is happening, you can use another one. Let's say aluminum. So we have 2 aluminiums and 2 aluminiums is balanced. Now we check oxygen, 3 and 12 oxygens, and here we have 9 and 6 oxygens as well. Aluminium, carbon, oxygen, and hydrogens are balanced. So we finished the balancing using algebraic method. I hope you practice and hope you use it. You will see that this will be very useful. Okay, guys? I highly recommend you to follow the channel, subscribe, like, and share with your friends so they also get good grades in chemistry. Have a good one.